Hey, this is Matt. Once again, welcome back to the video. This is another paid request, this time for Bronson. Thank you so much for that. For those interested in requesting any type of videos, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. I think I had talked about this film once before, but I don't know what happened to the review. But it's Big Fat Liar, directed by Shawn Levy. Shawn Levy, this is one of the early films he did. He would go on to do the Night of the Museum films. He's worked on Deadpool 3. Let's see if he'll mess that up. I have very, very low expectations because it's still involved with Disney. But this stars Frankie Muniz, who at the time was doing Malcolm in the Middle. You also have Paul Giamatti, great actor. Loved him from the Howard Stern film Private Parts to this film called Shoot 'Em Up. Great character actor. You also have Amanda Bynes. Donald Faison. He's a good actor and comedian. He's in it. John Cho, who will later be in the Harold Kumar films and a great film called Searching. He's in a bit part. Jaleel White, Steve Urkel from the Family Matters TV show. He's in there in a supporting role. Lee Majors from the TV show The Fall Guy, among many other projects. He's in it. Pretty much the setup for the film is that Frankie Muniz lies a lot. Lies to his parents a lot. He lies to get his way through life. So, for example, when he gets to school, he makes up this lie about his dad being sick, and that's why he didn't write this paper. And he sets up this phone call to make Amanda Bynes pretend to be his secretary, and he pretends to be his dad, and okay, you can write the paper later. One thing leads to another. His parents arrive there, realize he's been lying. He's going to flunk out of this class. He's going to go to summer school. So the teacher gives him one last chance. Write this paper, handwritten. And so he doesn't know what to write, but people keep saying how much of a big fat liar he is. So he writes a story, Big Fat Liar. While he's on the way to drop off the paper, he gets hit with a limo, and riding in the back is Paul Giamatti, who is this movie producer whose films have been bombing, but as he puts it, one big hit will bring you back, which is true in the way of Hollywood. But they have this awkward kind of chatting, then they realize they kind of have a lot in common, that maybe Paul Giamatti was kind of like this kid went back in the day. I think Paul Giamatti did a good job. He's easily the best part of the movie. He's having fun being the villain role, and he's fun being a scumbag. He's just eating it up with delicious glee, being a scumbag. And he explains, this is how you went wrong, kid. You should have done this, you should have said this, should have done that. It worked fine. So you get the idea that, again, Giamatti did this type of thing back in the day. But when Frankie Muniz leaves, he left a paper behind. At first, like, hey, kid, come back. Then he reads it, he goes, this is good, and he steals it. So, of course, the kid tells the truth, but because he's lied so much, they don't believe him. He's going to summer school. He's pissed off about it. He's like, fuck this. Especially when him and his friend, Amanda Bynes, they go to the theater, and they see a trailer, and the trailer is for the paper he wrote. The paper he wrote's been turned to a script, and this teaser's been made, and now they're going to make a movie off his paper, and he's given no credit. So him and Amanda Bynes travel to Universal Studios, and they want to confront Paul Giamatti. And I don't know what Frankie Muniz was thinking, as in, even Giamatti says, what, you don't give me a wedgie? You hit me with a spitball? So, of course, they throw him out, and now these two want revenge on this big fat liar. Now, the other actors, they either have worked or currently work with Giamatti's producer character. Donald Faison's a limo driver who got fired from him, so he's helping out the kids. John Cho is the director is going to be directing Paul's new film. Lee Majors is a stunt coordinator. Jaleel White is the star of the movie they're finishing up. This awful looking film where he's a cop and his partner is a chicken. And then lo and behold, that film comes out and is a big bomb. Gee, I wonder why. I would say that's really stupid, but then I look at Hollywood today and they actually do create a lot of stupid movies, so maybe that's more realistic. Now, this film, it's okay. It's okay for a kid's film, for a family film. I mean, I've never really got into Malcolm in the Middle. Just, I've seen bits and pieces, and it's like, okay. It's kind of my reaction to it. So I don't hate Frankie Muniz, but I'm just not a diehard fan of him. I would say I'm indifferent. Same with Amanda Bynes, indifferent. They do fine, though, in their roles, to be fair. It definitely doesn't feel like a long movie. It feels like we've had the setup and doesn't take too long for the plot to get going. It's cool to see a little bit behind the scenes of Hollywood, like the movie within the movie, that's Jaleel White. Nice to see him in there, because I did grow up a bit with Family Matters. I forgot he was in this. I'm like, oh shit. And the way Paul Giamatti keeps making fun of him, calling him Urkel. My name's not Urkel. Cool to see Donald Faison. I wish he had more to do, because I do think he's a talented guy. I wish he was more involved. But it's still, he pops up from time to time. Nice to see him in there. Same with John Cho. I wish he would have been in the film more. But it is more about the two kids. And they do these tricks on him. Probably the big ones are one dyeing the guy's pool blue. So he comes up and looking like a damn Smurf. And then you have this scene where they tricked him to go into the wrong place. So the place he goes to is this kid's party, and they think he's the clown. So the kids beat the shit out of him. Also, they fuck up his car a bit. That's probably the big 3 tricks they do on him. Paul Giamatti does sell it. So it's definitely one of those things that, I guess depending on how much you like or give a crap about Paul Giamatti as an actor. I do like him as an actor, so I got some chuckles out of that stuff. Some decent songs, in particular Hungry Like a Wolf, that plays during the bit Hungry Like a Wolf, when he just died with Blue. It's one of those things that Frankie Muniz, his character, kind of like him in person, it just pretty indifferent on. Maybe that's the thing, is that I didn't have a big, huge give a fuckitis, however you want to put it, of Frankie Muniz or his character. And okay, he's a big liar, so you can't really blame people for not believing in him. I appreciate he's taking an initiative. But then, sometimes he's more naive than he should be. Like, for example, okay, he does a couple tricks, and then there's this after party, because the movie he produced bombed. Go figure, Jaleel White and a chick and his cop partners bombed. Who would have thought that? And then for some reason, Frankie Muniz thinks now he's going to turn a new leaf. You think, okay, maybe he's got some backup plan in case he does it. No, Paul Giamatti just does the same thing he did earlier. He pretends he's going to call someone. He calls security, kits him out, does the same damn thing. I'm sitting there going, what do you expect, dude? What the fuck did you expect? I could have guessed that. Why didn't you? So then he doesn't know what to do. But then they set up this big plan, which involves a lot of the people I mentioned. Spoiler alert. Donald Faison picking him up, and then, oh, something's wrong with the limo. Then Steve Urkel, Jaleel White picks him up, but he's going all apeshit crazy, so Paul Giamatti jumps out. Then Lee Majors finds him, taking a helicopter. We got parachute down. And because he's so dazzled and frazzled and frayed, sees Frankie Muniz. They get into a foot chase, going up and down and around. Corners Frankie Muniz, and his aspiration says, "Yeah, I did steal it. What are you gonna do about it?" Find out that John Cho and everybody's filming. They got the evidence. People are outside, including Frankie Muniz's parents. They see what's going on. And ultimately, Paul Giamatti's screwed. Frankie Muniz gets the credit. His parents believe in him at the end. End of movie. And it's one of those films that I watch and I go, okay. Kind of my reaction, okay. Like, it's not bad. Is that something I would really care to watch again? But compared to a lot of kids' films, there's way, way worse movies. If you're a big Malcolm in the Middle Frankie Muniz fan, sure. Like I say, he's not the worst. I just don't think he's the best. He's there. But yeah, kind of, I don't know if I want to say lukewarm, but just indifference. With both him and his character. That's just how I feel. People disagree, that's fine. Amanda Bynes is okay. She's just, for the most part, along for the ride. Doing what Frankie Muniz tells her. Like this one bit where she got to pretend to be a secretary while Frankie sees Giamatti in his office. But yeah, Amanda Bynes, I do appreciate they didn't go with some romance between Frankie and Amanda Bynes. I appreciate that. Because a lot of times they try to force that stuff in there. I'm glad they didn't try to force that in. I appreciate that. That way it made it not as predictable on that front. She said, okay, it's going to be that throughout this ordeal, they fall in love, or he's always had a crush on her, or she's had a crush on him, but no, that they're just friends. I can appreciate that. Okay, makes it. It's weird how sometimes the things you don't do makes it seem more refreshing, and that there's not a lot of subplots to get in the way. It's mainly the focus of trying to mess with Giamatti's character. Let's say it's nice to see some of the familiar faces, like John Cho, Jaleel White. Like I say, I wish Donald Faison and John Cho had more to do, but it's more of the kids, the two kids movie, understandably so. Thankfully, there's not a whole lot of jokes involving puke or farts or anything of the sort, so at least it's not too juvenile on that front. There's a couple bits of slapstick, like the kids being on Giamatti during the party, but it's fine. I think, like I said, what made it watchable at the very least was Paul Giamatti. Again, just he has this great energy to him that he could play a really good scumbag. And I think that's why the movies I think of, because there's movies he's done that he's played a good guy, but the ones that come to mind is, I did Shoot 'Em Up, Private Parts, this one, He's eating it up. You maybe say he's going over the top, but it's a delicious fun over the top if that's the case. He's just relishing being evil and being an asshole. And definitely not on autopilot, definitely not phoning it in or texting it in or any of the sort. So I can appreciate at least watch it for him. And thankfully the movie's not too long that it overstays its welcome. And it's cool to see people like Jaleel White, Lee Majors, people like that in there. And see a little bit about the making of a movie. I mean, not too in depth or anything, but it's nice to have that background showcased on it. To a point that if you saw this with your kids and it's, I don't know where it'd be showcased, whatever streaming platform, you do a lot worse. You do a lot worse. Like I said, it's just not something that made me love it, but okay, let me put it this way. If this was 10 years before, and you have Paul Giamatti still, but then you have maybe Macaulay Culkin, maybe I would have liked this more. Or if you had the Brandon Call from People Under the Stairs, or if you had trying to think of other kid actors at that time, I mean, maybe a different lead, I would have been more gung-ho about this. Maybe that's what it is at the end of the day. Because I have such an indifference to Frankie Muniz, I don't hate him, I don't like him, just whatever. Maybe that kind of dwindled into the rest of the movie. Like I said, back to the day, it was Macaulay Culkin, or if it was, I can't think of it, someone else. Maybe I would have been more drawn into this. As is, it's a harmless time waster. It is. So, it feels like something that would be on Nickelodeon. With that said, thanks for watching. Take care. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.